Morning, guys. So this is Armand from Cool Trading Tools. We're doing our market analysis here in the morning. So today I'm going to be watching four stocks we're going to go over. So the start is the Nasdaq, which was just gapping up. It looks like we got some numbers here. Let me see. So let's take a look at what we got going on. So housing starts and import prices must have just came out, caused us to push down lower here. Initially here, this is kind of my plan of the day. The market's made a pretty large move off the bottom here. We're up about anywhere between 8 to 9% here. I was kind of going to hope that we would set an alert here going at 748.65, 48 points. And I am going to have a little bit of a bearish lean today. I was looking for us because of that move, almost 8-9% in just 4 or 5 days, running into all-time highs. My most likely case scenario is a neutral scenario where we kind of maybe range bound for a little bit after this large move. Now we could push higher here. There is a deal on the table with the Iran war. Supposedly finalized this Friday or something along that. We also have the FOMC tomorrow. I would expect to kind of just ignore that. I mean, that could just pop us up and grind us higher. But in my mindset is I've kind of just ignored those headlines as much as possible because throughout the entire war, the market, we've had a deal, not had a deal, has just grinded up regardless and ignored the news, whether it's bad or good. So personally, I don't put a ton of weight into that there's a deal now, that's some bullish scenario because the market's already been going up for 2 months during the war anyway. So kind of a little bit of irrelevant for me. A little bit actually disappointed in this gap down. I was hoping we would have held up and then just pushed right off into the open into there. That being said, the two scenarios I would be looking at is a green to red on the market. I'd be willing to get bearish on that if we stay red on the day. Because in that mind, we're applying then a higher low on the daily chart against this, lower high, or we run into the 748.65 and we would watch the intraday price action around there to look for a rejection or a 5-minute trend change. We don't just get short because we run into the level. We would look to see how does the price action happen when we get in there. And then once we see that, we can go to our other stocks and see how we would play that situation. So for me, top watch today is still going to be SpaceX. There's still a lot of attention on this stock. You can trade it back and forth. Had a beautiful trend yesterday, broke below VWAP, remounted, and then just trended all day long, every dip getting bought. I still have a bearish lean in this. It's more of just about when does it get breaking down. Ideally here, it's kind of pushing lower here. We also get a little push at the open. What the Nasdaq is doing at this specific time will kind of be aligned with how we trade these other stocks, right? So if we get a little bit of the Nasdaq running into that pivot that we marked out, and during that time we're seeing relative weakness on SpaceX or our other stocks, that would be a good signal that, okay, relative weakness on this stock, and the market is running into its resistance. And then if we get the confirming intraday bearish action on the market, we can look to short the relative weakness stock on this. And this right now is providing great momentum day trading opportunities. It's kind of like just one of those things where you can trade it back and forth. You take an entry, like if it dipped down here, you take an entry here, right? Dips down to the 9 EMA. You sell a little bit into the highs, and then you can just put your stop, at break even or below the support and let the trade work for you. And this stock's going to be giving enough because there's so much focus on it, volatility and range where you can find yourself in good momentum day trades. You don't need there's not a lot of price action history on this. It's still obviously probably incredibly overvalued. Will come down at some point, but right now there's not a lot of history to go off of. So you just play the momentum, take some profits, and then let the rest. See if you find yourself in a position to let the trade work, where it makes, on this day, a 20% move on a $200 stock, and you can just kind of let the stock play out. So I'll be looking for shorts. A lot of this, like I said, is going to be depending on what is the QQQ doing at the given moment on where I feel like it's the opportunity to get short on this. This was actually going to be one of my long trades today. I still don't think I anticipate like any type of a swing trade on this for a couple reasons. One is I'm thinking the market is going to be short the Nasdaq, so that's going to bring other software and technology stocks down like snow. This isn't going to work out as well if the QQQ is dropping. The second thing is this is a pretty large company and it had a 35% gap up on this earnings. It's consolidated in range. Really, what I would look to do with it is I would look for a red to green and get long at the red to green line and sell half right away, sell some more into another push, and really look for like a few minute trade. It's not something I'm looking to hold all day because I do have a bearish lean on the day. Just something to have along on the table because we have such a bullish market right now. But ideally, if I do take a long on this, I'm looking to take profits pretty quickly in this. SNDK, another one here, right? I'm going to play SNXX for a couple of reasons. It's a 2x ETF, so more volatility. I also prefer the price range of $41 versus $2,000. Just easier for me to manage my risk on, and I just like that price range better. If you look at SNDK, I mean, it's been in a monster move for the entire year. We're not looking for a huge trade day and short for like a big pivot, but this one is on 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be the 5th day in a row green. If we're going to look for weakness in the semiconductors, technology stocks, when the market gets into that level, if we see the confirming intraday price action on the Nasdaq that's showing us market weakness as we expected, we can go and look at names like SpaceX and SNDK. And hopefully at those times we were seeing a little bit of relative weakness or just a good intraday setup to risk off of that we can play the weakness in technology if the market does decide to double top at this level or go just red on the day and hold red and maybe look to fill this gap. So ideally, like I said, we want to see us run into here, but a lot of the thing is just going to be sitting on our hands, watch the market. If it pushes lower, let it set up. Is it going to fake and go back green? Or is it going to do a secondary setup and consolidate here, then break the range lower? And that gives us a continuation pattern that says, okay, we're probably going to be entering in some hourly consolidation here. Or does it, right off the bat, push higher, go back green, and then we can just sit on our hands and be patient for the move into this pivot level and see how it reacts. We don't need to get super aggressive in either direction. SpaceX, I think, is the play. I said this yesterday. These types of stocks, even if you're not a very good trader, because of the volatility, you can find yourself in good winners. So it gives enough range to be forgiving. So even if you lost 2 or 3 times on this, you catch the move and you can ride it for 18 to 20 points. You lose a couple bucks on it, like on different trades. This is the type of trader you want to be in if you're intraday trading. So as long as this stock is giving us good volatility, we will keep trading it for the next probably coming weeks. So yeah, so that's the market analysis for today. You guys have a good trading day, and I'll see you tomorrow.